Hello everyone and welcome to Daria Draws. Today, as a part of my preparation for World Art Dubai Fair, I'm going to show you the process of creating this painting that's behind me. It is ready and even painted the edges. So I'm very proud of it, and even before I started thinking about it, I made a little layout of my stands where I'm going to exhibit my works. Just to see what is missing, what works I already have, what should be more like focused on, and so on. And there was a very good spot for a painting, but it was for a very elongated canvas, and I haven't worked with that before, so that was a little challenging, and it was very fun, to be honest. So I decided to make another still life. Decided to keep the figurative painting for the catalog and just to exhibit mainly still lifes and maybe some animalistics. So I decided that I wanted something airy, I wanted something light, I wanted it to match the parrots a little bit because they will be hanging next to each other, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted. Then I kind of thought about the vibrant accents that the parrots have on their heads, like the yellow feathers, and perhaps adding a colored accent to like a beigey white background was a good idea. And that's when I kind of thought of pomegranates. The composition is very scattered, there's no focal point, and that was very challenging as well, apart from the format. But format and composition obviously kind of go hand in hand. So yeah, this is a little bit of the thought process behind the artwork. I hope you enjoy the process. Once I was happy with the composition that I have assembled using the fruits, I estimated roughly how they would fit onto the canvas. I wanted to have a very long composition to fit the length of the canvas, so the pomegranates would be scattered around the space that I have. As you probably can tell, I haven't started directly with oils, but I decided to go first in with charcoal, and I wanted to create like a very sketchy light feeling, so charcoal is perfect for that. Then I smudged some charcoal with the turpentine and brush to create somewhat of midtones and build the shadows a little bit, but not to worry, the charcoal strokes are coming back later on. Now the first layer of paint is somewhere in between the shadow and a mid-tone, and definitely has nothing to do with lights. I'm just trying to build the shapes and give the fruits a little bit of a fleshy feel. Even though it is just a beginning, I am still trying to follow the right colors of the pomegranates. Like some of them are a bit more orangey, while others have a pinkier tone. Then I slowly started building the shapes in the fabric with some Mars brown and golden ochre mixed with white. I really like this kind of pale beige. I think it complements the reds really well, and white would have been maybe a bit too obvious of a choice. Also, I want to keep the fabric a little bit messier, a little bit more airy, as if it was done with watercolors, and have the fruits with the main kind of detail and texture and all that. And I'm bringing some of the charcoal back that was wiped out with the oils. I think it adds incredible texture, very sketchy looking, very effortless, but if done right, I think it can really highlight certain textures and just bring a little bit of movement into the painting. And I'm just redefining the shapes a little bit, making sure they look okay and what they actually look like in the live composition that I have next to me. So yeah, and then I'm just going to unite a little bit the pomegranates with the background by adding some of the red reflections into the fabric. I'm also adding some of the shadows in order to separate that mid-tony, shadowy color from the actual shadows. There are still no strong lights, but I'm playing around with the midtones and the shadows for now. And later on, I will be adding some lighter lights and highlights. Apart from having shadows and lights, objects are not smooth, so they have little dents, they have the pores, which makes them unique, and it's nice to highlight those things as well. So here's the palette with all of the shades that I'm going to need for the pomegranates, including dark burgundies, pinky reds, and some orangey reds as well. Even though there is no center in the composition, I still decided to add some details to certain parts of it. Like, for example, this open piece of pomegranate is going to have a lot more detailing than its neighbor on the left. The painting is slowly getting brighter with the lights and the highlights that I'm applying, and we're having more of difference between the lights and the shadows, which just enriches the painting and creates a very nice contrast. I'm using some of the semi-transparent layers on top of the painting when it is dry, and that creates this kind of watercolor almost effect. So you can still see the previous layers and they're peeking through, but you're also adding a new kind of coat of color, but a very subtle one. Also, this is the time when I'm adding some of the colder tones to the pomegranates. They are very warm, they all have this reddish, orangey, pinky tone, but I feel like it's nice to also add the cooler tones to push certain forms back. I have used a lot of smaller strokes to highlight all the little peaks of color that you get on a pomegranate, but I decided to unite them a little bit, and so with like an average tone that you can see throughout the whole fruit, I went on top of the whole thing, and that kind of brings it all together very nicely. And I'm just adding some of the smaller details where they need to be, so that the pomegranate doesn't look too smooth and too perfect. Now another victim of the semi-transparent layer will be this faraway pomegranate. I'm covering it completely with a reddish diluted shade so that it appears to be pushed back, and it's the furthest away from the center, so like from the focal point, and that's why I don't want it to have too many details and too much tension on it. Working on the edges is just as important because there are areas you want to highlight, and then there are areas you would want to soften and make them almost disappear. And just some final touches on the fabric, making sure it has enough light because it is a light color after all, so going too dark is not an option here. So here we have the end result. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like it and perhaps subscribe to the channel. That will help it grow and keep me motivated to post more. And I'll see you in the next video.